let's start with the first big question from your perspective, because you're an interesting case, and when I read about you and this your thoughts on fifth generation warfare, I wanted to get somebody in that isn't like me. I'm a 30-something year military guy, so I study this stuff. And have read that book. I've had General Robert Spalding on, who wrote a book about the Chinese People's Liberation Army colonels that wrote Unrestricted Warfare. So from your perspective, what is fifth generational warfare and how are we seeing it today?
Well, I'm going to give you a little bit of probably a slightly different but also congruent perspective as well. One of the things I like to say about fifth generation warfare is I think people understand it by us telling someone what it's not. Back in the day when we were kids, warfare was, put up your dukes or put up your fist. It was, in the military, it's guns and bombs. That has progressed now where we have this biological warfare, as we all know. But fifth generation warfare has really nothing to do with physically taking you out. It wants to mentally take you out, right? It wants to attack the mind. The battlefield is in the mind, and let us understand that the mind is a separate thing from the brain. The mind is really this perception-centric concepts of how we see the world. When we have in the mind the perception of fear, anxiety, and concern and threat all the time, our body's chemistry goes into a fight or flight mode. This cortisol, this stress will occur, and we don't think well. We lose our ability to reason. We're more reactive instead of responsive. And if that happens over the course of time, we become very reactive and we become predictably reactive. Now, China, as you say, they tend to be labeled the masters at that. And I do concur to a point. But I will also say that the real controlling thing behind this is two things. It's control and money, or control, power, and money. You might say three. Mm-hmm. The United States leaders in certain areas like big medicine and like big pharma, they also know how to do it. And they've done that for the last 50 to 75 years by advertising on the airways to big pharma drugs, right, to kids, by subsidizing big food that actually creates illness, getting us so locked into a dependency on a system that set us up for where we are right now. So all this has been a precursor to where we are, and COVID was used to the perfect scenario, I think. I think they did a really nice job with that because they partnered up on this idea that we, as big medicine, big pharma, big government, we know the best. In other words, they were saying to the American people, you're stupid. You don't know how to care for yourself. We know how to care for you better than you do. So we're going to tell you and show you what you do because you can't do it yourself. And for the good of everybody, listen to us. But that was a whole big explanation to your question. Hopefully that gave a little bit of color and broadness to the concept.
Get the whole story on Red Voice Media Premium using the link below, completely uncensored and ad-free.